What is going on YouTube? It is your boy, Sir Jorge D Great, bringing you our draft analysis for the BBR, better known as the Breedjects Battle Royale. I am your coach for the Santa Eggys, and yeah, I'm very excited for this new Wi-Fi league that we are joining, and we'll sort of be picking up after we ended off the SSBL, which is unfortunate, because as of record this at the moment, I just battled week 9, yeah, so when this comes out, this should be right before week 9 comes out, but we are officially out of the playoff run after Zeus won his match. So it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. We'll keep on moving forward, and hopefully, we'll do well next season. Now, looking forward to this season. For those who do not know what the Breedjects Battle Royale is, it was a league that wasn't even a league before it was founded. So about a year ago, the Pokemon Grand Prix hosted a tournament with a bunch of different leagues from Discord, and what ended up happening is they had a bunch of spare coaches that just didn't form a team, or they were part of a league that ended up getting hacked off, and so what they decided to do was put these coaches together and make an unofficial league team. And so since we were a bunch of rejected players, the term Breedjects sort of came around, and so that's what we were known as. We were called the Breedjects. And I actually made the logo for our teams, which will be up in the screen right now. So we started as the Breedjects, and what ended up happening is that we got first overall, either first or second overall in the league. So the one thing that wasn't even a league got first overall that season, and we lost in the finals, unfortunately. But it was a lot of fun, and that's when Pokemaster, who is the owner slash founder of the league, decided to make this his own league. And so yeah, it's been. I was part of the Wi-Fi season, part of the Wi-Fi league season 1. I stepped away for a bit. I wasn't part of the Showdown leagues, and then now we are back here for a post Isle of Armor DLC draft. So yeah, I'm very excited. Hopefully there's some cards out of the way. But anyways, how the draft worked was that we were given 1,200 points. There was Pokemon from ranging from 200 to 20 points. In terms of our seeding, it was actually kind of interesting because May was saying, "Oh, I'm gonna host us doing the live randomization of the seeding," and so I was there watching it all happen. And when I think it was we started at third, and then we were 7th, 8th. The second and third mix up, and then I think either that or we were near the end of the draft, and then yeah. So we were third. And then we were put at last. We were 15th, the 15th seed, and then we were 7th and 8th. And I was actually terrified. I was like, "Oh God, I do not want to be in the middle of the draft. That's probably one of the worst positions to ever be." And then it happened. Once on that 5th reroll, it happened. The most amazing thing ever. We got the first round pick, the golden pick. Hopefully there's some it's going on in the background as a one drops down. But yeah, we got the first overall pick, and so we basically got first dibs on anything. So with that out of the way, let's get into our first overall pick. Now coming in as our first overall pick, some of you might are lead to believe that actually hold up, let me rephrase that. There were a lot of options for a first round pick. A lot of good Pokemon out there. We have Dragapult, we have Melmetal, we have the Urshifu, Single Strike, Rapid Strike. We have who else? We have Clefable, Aegislash, Necrozma. Some real power picks. But I think I got the best Pokemon ever. And I am not lying to when I said this was my first overall pick. Look at my face. Look at it. All right, you guys ready for it? The first pick of the Breedjects Battle Royale Season 2 post Isle of Armor was none other than Sir Eggy, the Alolan Executor. Yes, guys, I did it. I picked Alolan Eggy round 1. I was naming around that I was going to. No one believed me that I was going to, and I actually almost got Melmetal first round. I was an inch of away saying, you know what, I'll get Alolan Eggy second round. But my boy Gray, he was like, hey, are you getting Eggy? And I was like, yes, are you? And he was, yeah. And so I felt kind of pressure to get a lone Eggy to secure the bag at the very least. And so we grabbed Sir Eggy round 1. Now, just because this is an 80-point pick does not mean a lone Eggy is a bad Pokemon. Far from that. I actually really like using a lone Eggy in Draft League. So let's go over some of his stats. So first and foremost, he has a base HP stat of 95, an attack stat of 105, a defense stat of 85, a special attack of 125, a special defense of 75, and a speed of 45. We have 2 really good abilities in my opinion. We have Frisk, which what we'll do once we go into the battle, we actually get to see our opponent's item, whether that be a Scarf, a Life Orb, Specs, Banded, Leftovers. So if we don't know what our opponent's item is, we'll get to see it right away, and I think that's very valuable information. And our second ability is going to be Harvest. So at the end of the turn, we have a 50% chance of reusing the berry that we consume. So if we're a Super Berry, if we're a Citrus Berry, then Harvest will trigger, and we'll get to restore some of our health. So some good sets are like Sunny Day Harvest, so where we have we're sub Sunny Day Berry, so that once we're in Sun, we are 100% guaranteed our berry. Otherwise, if we're in another weather, hail, sand, rain, it's a 25% chance to trigger it. But anyway, so we have Sunny Day Harvest. One of my favorite ways to run Eggy is going to be Trick Room. I really just love using Trick Room overall. It's a fantastic. I really like using it because it really does put the speed tiers in reverse. So for those who do not know what Trick Room is, it's Trick Room, the move itself is a negative priority move that will literally reverse the speed order. So Eggy, being a very slow Pokemon at base 45, not the slowest, but one of the slower ones, he'll most likely be moving first, right? So the only way we really can be outpaced is by slower Pokemon like Slowbro and Jigglypuff. But there is a new item in the game that I used in the SSBL against George, Room Service. And so if we pair a lone Eggy with Room Service, then what that'll do, that'll even lower our speed by 1 stage, so we'll go even slower, which I think is really cool, because that will guarantee us to go first overall. Eggy's attack stats of being 105 and special attack at 125 means we can hit pretty hard. I prefer to run Special Eggy because we get Drinker Meter, we get Leaf Storm, which are very powerful moves. Yeah, sure, they lower the stats, but if we give him an eject pack, which if our stats lower, then Eggy can get the heck out of there, and we drop a Draco, we get the heck out of there, so we're not stuck there on -2. What else? Eggy also gets Wish, which is really cool. So Wish Eggy, we get Wish Pass, restore 50% of our next Pokemon's health. We get Knockoff, we can remove our opponent's item. In terms of the new moves, the DLC moves, I think I want to mention that every single time. We get so many new. We get Expanding Force, which I think is phenomenal. We get Terrain Pulse, which what that does is basically like a Weather Ball, but with the terrain, so that either it might be a Psychic type move, it might be Electric, it might be Fairy, or it might be Grass. And then finally, we also get Grassy Glide, which is a priority Grass type move. I don't ever see myself running Grassy Glide simply because I would have to set up the grassy terrain first, and we don't have Rillaboom, and we don't have Bulu, and Bulu's not even in the game, so there's that. But yeah, I really do like Eggy. I honestly memes aside, I really do like using a little Eggy as a Pokemon himself. But yeah, that's gonna be our first round pick, and hopefully, you guys are excited for this first round pick. Moving on into our second pick. Going into the second round, I really didn't know what I wanted to get. I'm gonna be honest. We got Eggy first round. A lot of people were very surprised by that. But looking into the second round pick, I was just sort of like, since we were the first round pick overall, our second and third round picks we're going to be back and back. That's going to be the same for our fourth and fifth, sixth and seventh, and then our eighth and ninth, and then our final pick, something along those lines. The rest of our picks were going to be back to back to back. Anyways, so we're looking at sort of what we could get next. I was sort of I was going back and forth debating, and then I saw these two Pokemon were still available, post near the end of round 2. And so I got a lot of love for getting a Luna Exeggutor. I got a lot of laughs, but then I got a lot of hate for these next 2 picks. So I'll go over the first one. Our second round pick is going to be Bless Up the Jirachi. So Jirachi was really our tier 1 pick at 200 points. With Eggy and Jirachi, you know, sort of balanced picks overall in terms of pointage alone. Jirachi and Eggy also form our Fairy Dragon Steel Core, which I think is very important. Let's talk about Jirachi's typing. He's a Steel and Psychic Pokemon with the Serene Grace ability. Now, what that does is basically any move that has a chance of a second, like, what's the term I'm looking for? Has a second effect, its probability of occurring is doubled. So suppose I go for an Iron Head, which has a 30% chance of flinching. I actually now have a 60% chance of flinching, which is kind of cool. But anyways, Jirachi's stats are base 100 across the board. So it's a pretty, you know, it's one of the mythical Pokemon, so it's gonna have base 100 across the board. I really like Jirachi simply because it is flinching. I try not to rely on hacks. Like if it happens, it happens. I got hacked out that week 9 SSBL match, and it really did enrage me. But it's part of the game. Jirachi has a lot of like resistances. It has a good immunity and poison. And I feel like it has a weakness to fire and ground. And Eggy, you know, since Eggy is aggressive, it's not going to be resisted, but it is neutral. And yeah, I really do like Jirachi here. It's a rocket for us. It's another Wish Passer, which I think is really important. We can be annoying with T-Wave. We can Thunder Wave our opponents. If we want to be a more offensive set, we can, you know, use Meteor Mash to boost our attack. We do get access to Healing Witch, which is a more stronger version of Wish, which will KO us. But whatever Pokemon comes in, we can just simply heal them to full, including any status. I do believe we get some cool moves in the form of Doom Desire and Future Sight. There we go. That's the which Future Sight is a move that Eggy also gets. I should have mentioned that before. Well, basically, it's like it's a 2-turn move, but the base 140 attack. So our opponent's really is gonna have to be mindful of like, okay, does Future Sight hit now? Does Doom Desire now? So they can switch in like, you know, the Dark type or whatever that may be, and we can get off a really powerful Psychic type move. What else? We also get screens, which is really beneficial. We get the Elemental Punches and Ice Punch, Fire Punch, and Thunder Punch. We get Icy Wind for speed control. We get Charm to lower our opponent's attack stat. We get Momentum in U-turn. Something I do like that Jirachi does get now, it's Meteor Beam. And it also gets Expanding Force, which is good. But we do get access to Meteor Beam now. And what Meteor Beam is a new move shown to us by or introduced to us from the Isle of Mar and DLC pack. And it's a 2-turn attack, but on the first turn, our special attack is boosted. So think of it as a Rock-timed Solar Beam, but it boosts our special attack, and on top of that, it's a base 120 attack move. So what we can do is simply give it a Power Herb, so Meteor Beam goes off immediately, and we have a +1 Jirachi, which I think would be phenomenal. But yeah, Jirachi also gets access to Trick Room, so we have another Trick Room option. I really do think Jirachi is a really good Pokemon, and I'm really excited to see what we can do with it. But yeah, on to our 3rd round pick. Alright guys, coming in as the 3rd overall pick, we have the Flinch Goddess herself, Togekiss, the Togekiss. So Togekiss is a Fairy and Flying type Pokemon. I mentioned earlier that our 2nd and 3rd round picks were back to back. So we got Jirachi and Togekiss simultaneously, and you can see why I get a lot of hate for these 2 picks. So let's go over Togekiss's abilities. The first one is it's going to have his Hustle, which will lower its accuracy but increase its attack stat by 1.5. Its hidden ability is going to be Super Lock, which I believe increases the odds of getting a critical hit. I just hit my desk, which caused everything to shake. I apologize about that. And our final ability is going to be Serene Grace, just like Jirachi, which doubles the probability of getting these second effects going off. Jirachi. Wow, I have like both of them back to back in mind. Togekiss stats are a base 85 base stat in HP, 50 in attack, 95 in defense, 120 in special attack, 115 in special defense, and 80 speed. Togekiss, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how these 2 sort of work out. It helps that Jirachi is immune to poison type moves, which both Eggy and Togekiss are or weak to. I think also Togekiss being a flying type and having a immunity to ground type helps out Jirachi, as well as Eggy being a grass type Pokemon. But besides that, we get access to Defog, I do believe. We get another Witch Passer. We can be sort of Haxy with Air Slash, Iron. I don't think we don't get Iron Head. Air Slash flinches. We can try to go for the Bonkai and Agent Power boost. We get coverage in Aurora Sphere, which is always accurate. We have priority in Extreme Speed. What else? We get Wish. We get Yawn. We get Charm again. We get Screens again. We get T-Wave again. We get Imprison, Fling, Drain Punch, Draining Kiss, Mystical Fire. What else? We get Morning Sun for recovery, but I think Roost might be a little bit better. A DLC move I did get was Dual Wing Beak Beat, which is it's almost like Double Kick, but for flying type Pokemon. I doubt we'll ever bring it if we like run Hustle. If you run Hustle, Togekiss maybe, but I really doubt that. What else? We get Shadow Ball, we get Baton Pass, but I think Speed Passing is banned. And then we get like Dingling, Hyper Voice, Trig, Heat Wave. So I think these picks so far have been really good. Us picking up Togekiss did complete our Fairy Steel Dragon Core immediately, which is really phenomenal. And yeah, I really do like Togekiss a lot. I think obviously I picked it up for the flinches with the Jirachi. So our opponents can get a bit annoyed at us, but I think they'll be just fine with these picks. Moving on to our 4th overall pick. Coming in our 4th overall pick, when I was looking for like what to draft next, I was looking for something that really was a very physical threat. We have pretty much very special attacking Pokemon. Yes, we can run Eggy physical. Yes, we can run Jirachi physical, but we're most likely going to be running. Well, Jirachi is more like mixed. You know, my opponents won't know what to bring. But I wanted a Pokemon that definitely can be run physical, like 80-70% of the time. And that Pokemon, I also wanted an electric type Pokemon, and the Pokemon that we ended up drafting was going to be, you guys might recognize him from the AP Academy. It's going to be Commander the Dracozolt. Now, Dracozolt is an electric and dragon type Pokemon. I usually for some odd reason, whenever I do draft Eggy, I always try to get another dragon type Pokemon just to have it as an option. So yeah, we drafted Dracozolt. He has 3 interesting abilities. The first one being Bolt Absorb, which gives him an immunity to electric type hits. Hustle, which will increase his attack but lowers his accuracy, just like Togekiss. And he has Sandfresh, which is his hidden ability, and I'm pretty sure we actually get to run that move. If not, some of our picks were pretty pointless. But anyways, again, like I mentioned before, I really wanted to bring a Pokemon that was a threat to our opponents, and Dracozolt is just that Pokemon. It's almost like the fish, but slightly more missy, or inaccurate rather. Missy is not a good word, not a proper word. Anyways, going over his stats, he has a base HP of 90 in his he has a base 90 HP, base 100 attack, base 90 defense, 80 special attack, base 70 special defense, and base 75 speed. We have some good resistances in steel, flying, fire, water, electric, and grass if we don't run a Volt Absorb. Obviously, if we Volt Absorb, then we have immunity for electric type Pokemon. A move that I really do like that Dracozolt is sort of like his signature ability that he shares with Arctozolt. It's going to be Beak Bolt. Now, what Beak Bolt does is basically, if we're the first one to move, our damage output is going to be doubled. So, suppose our opponent switches out. If we can read the switch out, then our Beak Bolt will be doing double. Obviously, if he goes into a ground type Pokemon, that's not going to be the case, but it's still cool to have nonetheless. So, yeah, Beak Bolt goes from a base 85 move to a base 170, which is just insane. So even if the Pokemon resists a hit, it's going to do neutral damage, which I think is fantastic. We can run like Blunder Policy to double our speed if we do end up missing. If not, we got Aerial Ace, we get Discharge, we get Dragon Pulse, Rush. We get some we get Rain Dance since it's Sunny Day, which is kind of interesting. We get Rock Slide. We even get T-Wave if you want to be a bit like Haxy. We get Fire Spin, which I think is a good trapping move. If we do get Thunder Punch, but like we'll never bring Thunder Punch because Bolt Beak is always better. We get Wrong Tube, Wrong Plus, Thunder Fang, Fire Fang for fire coverage, which kind of sucks, I'm not gonna lie. We do get Stopping Tantrum. We do get Flamethrower Fire Blast. We get Outrage, which should be really good, because you know we have some Outrage. And then in terms of the new DLC moves, we get Meteor Beam, just like Jirachi, and we get Rising Voltage. Now Rising Voltage will double in attack if it's in the electric terrain, and that's not including the electric terrain boost. So it'll just do a ridiculous amount of damage. But obviously we would have to manually set it up, and I don't think we have that option in this team, unfortunately. But anyways, that's going to be our 4th overall pick. On to our 5th. Alright guys, so going into the 5th round, like I mentioned before, our 4th and 5th pick were going to be back to back. So again, I was able to be basically pairing off Pokemon together. So for our next pick, I actually won't be going too much over it, simply because we did trade away this Pokemon to Mid Pokemaster for another Pokemon, which I'll bring up at the end of the draft. But I still wanted to give it some spotlight, because I think it's a good Pokemon nonetheless. So for our 5th overall pick, we decided to get Jigglypuff for simply and solely the sand, because it does get Sand Stream. So I will go over some of the stats. It has a base HP stat of 85, an attack stat of 135, a defense of 130, a special attack of 60, a special defense of 80, and a speed of 25. Now that I say it out loud, I really wish I didn't give away Jigglypuff, but I honestly, I really didn't care. I was like, you know what, I'll get sand somehow, some way. Just you watch, just you wait. And Jigglypuff is a really good sand setter in my opinion. It's a very cheap pick, because compared to Hippowdon, which is like a cost 160 points, Jigglypuff wasn't that expensive. I think it costed us 120, so it was relatively cheap. It was on the cheaper side, rather. It was a rock setter for us. Unfortunately, we don't have it anymore. It did get access to Meteor Beam, so like I honestly really like the idea of running Meteor Beam, but it has a special attack of 60. So like it wasn't going to be doing that much to begin with, but it's fine, it's whatever. We did end up trading him away, and of course, by the time I go through my other picks, I will come back to Jigglypuff and I will discuss the Pokemon we traded him in for. Going on to round 6. Going into round 6, I really was getting worried. We didn't have a fire type Pokemon, and I really wanted to secure the bag with our fire water grass core, and I also wanted to get a dark type Pokemon. And so I was looking what was still available, and I saw this Pokemon was still there, and I was like, you know what? Why not? I'm gonna just as a backup between my history with this Pokemon. At first, I actually did not like this Pokemon at all. I really didn't like his design, and then as the years have gone by, I actually love this Pokemon, and a lot of it has to do with him being a Smash Bros. Now. That's right, our 6th round pick is going to be Rey Mysterio, the Incineroar. Now, Incineroar is a fire and dark type Pokemon with the Blaze ability, but the hidden ability of Intimidate, which I think is something we run most of the time. Incineroar's base stats include a 95 base in HP, a base set 115 base stat in attack, 90 in defense, 80 in special attack, 90 in special defense, and 60 in speed. So Incineroar is a rather slow Pokemon, but it can hit like a truck, and it's very bulky with 90, at least 90 across its defenses. I really do like Incineroar. We get priority in Fake Out. He has a so-called signature move in Darkest Lariat. We can set up with Bulk Up. Kyle A actually swept his opponent in the quarterfinals, or was it semifinals, for one of his leagues, using a setup Bulk Up weakness policy, Flame Charge Incineroar with Pirate for it. And I remember watching this video because I was like, it was on my feed, and I was like, why is this league match like 12 minutes long? And I clicked on it, and my mind was blown away. And so, I think Rey Mysterio is a really good Pokemon. We get momentum in U-turn, Parting Shot. He has a really, I forgot to mention Darkest Lariat, which is his signature move, like I said before, which will ignore the defense increases of our opponent's base stats. So like Mudsdale, for example, who is really known for like increasing his defense stat with stamina. we'll no longer be able to do that because we will just say no. Uh, we could basically hurt our opponents with Flare Blitz, Drain Punch, Shadow Claw, Acrobatics, Brutal Swing, Stomping Tantrum. Um, some of the new moves he did get was Burning Jealousy, Lash Out, and Scorching Sands. Scorching Sands is a special ground type move that has a chance to burn our opponents. Burning Jealousy is a base 60 move, I do believe, and it does burn up our opponents if they increase their stats, which is kind of interesting because pair that off with like I can perform myself who will increase his defense stats, and then we click the Burning Jealousy and then we burn them. That actually might be really cool. Lash Out does the same thing, I believe. We get Leech Life, we can click a sub. But yeah, I really do like Incineroar, my both cracks, and I think Rey Mysterio is going to put some fine work into the season. On to our next pick. Going into our round 7 pick, I mentioned before that Eggy likes to be in Trick Room, and I was looking at the squad. I really didn't have any Pokemon that benefited being in the Trick Room, so that's really what I was looking for this next pick. I wasn't pairing Incineroar with another Pokemon. I simply was looking at a Pokemon to pair with Eggy, so I could have like a dual basically threat in Trick Room. And so I really never see this Pokemon getting used at all, which is kind of interesting, because I think it has some good abilities, or it really has one good ability, and a second, mediocre ability, and then one that we'll never use because we're not in doubles. So, for our round 7 pick, we ended up picking up Behem, who was a Psychic-type Pokemon, and the reason why I did get it was because it does get the move Analytic. So what Analytic does, basically, is like a measure. So if we click, suppose Psychic on turn 1, and turn 2 we click Psychic again, that second Psychic will actually get boosted by 1.2 or 1.3, one of the two, or one in between. In terms of its base stats, it has a base stat of 75 for HP, attack, and defense. It has a special attack of 125, just like our good old Eggy. It has a special defense of 95, and then a speed of 40. So it's more like a glass cannon, if anything. We will have to play pretty tricky with it in terms of coming it out, because I think the only form of coverage for dark types is going to be Focus Blast, if I'm not mistaken. I will be honest, I think if it comes to anything, I think the first Pokemon on the chopping block is going to be Behem, for a better range, opportunist. But other than that, it does get Meteor Beam this now, which I think is really cool because it's one way for it to hit the dark type Pokemon, which it has a hard time dealing with. Because we just click Meteor Beam, Meteor Beam, Power Herb, just like Jirachi, just like Jigglypuff, and we obliterate whatever Pokemon comes in, because they're not going to appreciate a base 120 move. We do get Dark Pulse, we do get Energy Ball. We can set up with Cosmic Power, Store Power, which would be cool. We can try attack, we get Thunderbolt. So it isn't relatively bad. It's just its move pool is really small, which is why it's such a low tier pick. But I think I can make it work. Just you watch it, guys. I'm gonna make Behem more this season. If not, we'll get another Pokemon. There's no hard feelings with Behem. I'm gonna be experimenting solely on Behem. But anyways, that was our 7th round pick. Going on to our 8th. So going into the round, round 8, I mentioned before that we traded away the Jigglypuff to mid Pokemaster, and I still wanted to get a ground setter. So as I mentioned before, Hippopotas, Hippopotamus. I spoiled the pick, but Hippopotamus was a base, or it's here 160 Pokemon, and looking at the rest of our points, I didn't want to overspend. So that's why we ended up getting the discount. I had a coupon saying 50% off the points, and we ended up picking just Hippopotas, the baby hippo Pokemon. It's a ground type Pokemon, so we finally have a ground type on the team, but it isn't our only electric immunity. It has, again, Soundstream as its ability. Really, it's just an Eviolite user. In terms of its stats, it has base HP of 68, an attack stat of 72, a defense of 78, a special attack of 38, a special defense of 42, and a speed of 32. So again, we'll most likely just slap a Eviolite on this thing. It does get recovery in the form of Slack Off, which I think is still fine. I think it's pretty bulky. Was that a Violate Odd? I hope so. Really, we get Rocked, we get EQ, Slack Off, and that's pretty much it. We can run like another move like Rock Slide, Dig, Boulder Ball, Bulldoze if we wanted to. But I really think it's just going to be like a very defensive piece, defensive piece for the team. Like we'll never bring offensive Hippopotas, which isn't a bad thing, because really it's just setting up for our Jekyll to sweep. One of the new moves it does get is going to be Scorching Sands. Even though its special attack is like Booty Cheeks, we still have a good chance of burning our opponent with Scorching Sands. So like even if we go for it and it does like 0, if we do burn our opponent, it's a burn Pokemon. So like we take those. But anyways, yeah, I really do like Hippopotas here, and hopefully it does put some work in it. On to our next pick. So going into the 9th overall pick, we were getting near the end of the draft, and honestly, I wasn't too sure what I wanted to get. I felt like I needed a fighting type Pokemon. I still wanted to get another water type Pokemon. I wasn't sure what to get. We actually still had we had 220 points left over, so we could actually get some pretty decent Pokemon. Like we could have gotten like a base 160 Mon and then another 60 tier Pokemon. So our options were pretty like pretty wide and far. I realized we needed some speed control with a faster Pokemon because our fastest thing was Jirachi. So I felt like we needed to get something a little bit faster, but also, you know, it was a lot of things, you know, a lot of things were going on in my head. So, with our next pick, I honestly, I picked it just to pick it, but, it's still a decent Pokemon in my opinion. So our next pick is going to be Passimian, which is a fighting type Pokemon, and I think he has a really cool ability in Defiant. Now, what Defiant does is, if one of our stats gets dropped by our opponent, so suppose they send an Incineroar on our Passimian, then, the Incineroar's Intimidate will lower our attack, but because we have Defiant, our attack stat will get raised by 2 stages. So, really it's a way to counter our opponents, you know. To go over his stats, he has a base HP of 100, 120 in attack, 90 in defense, 40 in special attack, 60 in special defense, and a speed stat of 80. Again, it's relatively slow, but it's a fighting type Pokemon, which is always good, so we can deal with those pesky normal type Pokemons. It's a good Scarfer. We get Knockoff. We get Fling. We can set up with Bulk Up. We do get Close Combat. We get Rock Slide, Thief, Brick U-Turn, Rock Tomb, Drain Punch if we want to be a bit pesky. We get Priority and Quick Attack. We get Bulldoze, Acrobatics, Brutal Swing, and we'll never bring this move at all, but it does get Coaching, which is sort of interesting. It's an interesting move, because it's like a little whistle. We also get Earthquake, Seed Bomb, Gunk Shot, and Iron Head. So it does get a pretty good array of moves to counter our opponents, and I think I really do like Passimian here. But yeah, that was our 9th overall pick. On to our final pick of the draft. Going into our final pick, I mentioned before that our fastest thing is Jirachi at base 100, and I was like, oh god, we gotta do something about this. We can't have Jirachi like as our fastest Pokemon. So really, it was our final pick. Was these lost 120 points. I wanted to get something fast, and so with that, our final pick is going to be James Pond, also known as Bubble 07, the Inteleon. Inteleon is one of the new Pokemon that came out in Generation 8. It has some cool abilities in Torrent and Sniper. Sniper boosting our crit damage output, so we can be like Scoblin Sniper. It's a pure water type Pokemon. To go over its stats, it has a base HP of 70, an attack of 85, a defense of 65, a special attack of 125, a special defense of 65, and a speed stat of 120. Now, Inteleon is a relatively glass cannon, to say none the least, but it does hit hard on the special side. We have a bunch of Pokemon that hit hard on the special side and the physical side, which I think is good. We get momentum in the form of U-Turn. We do get Snipe Shot, but I think we'd rather run Scald or Hydro Pump, to be honest. We do get Sucker Punch. We also get Screens with Inteleon, so if we want to be such Screens, that could be cool. We get Icicle Spear, Bound, Bloodshot, Air Slash. Breaking Swipes, we get Priority in Aqua Jet, Aqua Ring. also Ice Shard. We can be physical. We do get access to sword sets. We get Ice Beam, Shadow Ball, Dark Pulse, and one of the new DLC moves it does get is Scale Shot, which it's like basically a multi-hit move. But once we do use it, our defense is lowered, but our speed is actually boosted. Which Intelligence is already fast as it is, but you know it'd be kind of cool if we could go extra fast. But anyways, that's gonna be our final pick and wrapping up the draft. So far, I really do like the team. I think it's a team nonetheless. I think we're gonna have to work hard this season if we want to do well, regardless. Hopefully we can do well. I've said this multiple times, like, oh wow, I hope we do well, but I'm really being serious this time. I really want to do well. The APA Academy and the NCP really does not show what we can do as a team as we sent at Eggys, so I really want to do better. But anyways, before I wrap this video, I do want to mention the trait we did have with Mid-Pokemaster and his Kentucky Tower Cats. So let's get into that. So like I mentioned before, we did trade Mid-Pokemaster, the owner of the BBR, our Jigglypuff, and in return we actually got another returning face. I really do like using this Pokemon. I really wouldn't think that using bulky Pokemon would be my thing, but we ended up trading with him for Jigglypuff. We got Jellicent, the Sirphilius, the finest of fish in the sea. And Sirphilius has cool abilities. It has Water Absorb, it has Curse Body, and it has Damp. So Water Absorb gives an immunity to water type attacks. Curse Body has a chance to basically disable our opponent's moves, and then Damp prevents explosion moves. And now with the introduction of like I touched my desk. But now with the introduction of like the Fairy type explosion, we can prevent that from ever happening. So like, they'll die, but we'll live. Yeah. Let's go over Sirphilius' attack stats. He has a HP stat of 100. He has an attack stat of 60, a defense of 70, a special attack of 85, a special defense of 105, and a speed of 60. Sirphilius is another Trick Motion on our team. It does get access to it, which I think is fantastic. So it does pair off well with our Sir Jorge. I really do like Sirphilius again. It can be very annoying with String Sap, which is a move I've run before. If you guys remember either our third or second week of the APA Academy, we brought String Sap, Jellicent, and it just walled the freaking Melmetal. We get moves with Icy Wind, Giga Drain, Whirlpool, Will-O-Wisp, Imprison, Hacks, Acid Armor, Nightshade, Water Spout, which I think is really cool, Hydro Pump, Shadow Ball. I mentioned before we get String Sap. Ooh, this is interesting. I didn't know it got this move, but it does get access now to Poltergeist, which is a physical ghost type move. But to be honest, I doubt we'll ever run that because it has this attack of what did I just say? 60. Yeah, an attack of 60. So like it isn't the best. We also get like I said before, Trick. We get Dark Pulse, Energy Ball, Sludge Wave, and Dazzling Gleam. So it really does get a good amount of moves. It should get triggered. Yeah, it does get triggered. I was double checking. But anyways, yeah. So we traded Mid-Pokemaster Jigglypuff for Jellicent, and I really do like Sirphilius. It's one of my favorite Pokemon to use in Draft League, aside from Alone Executor. Unfortunately, I didn't pick up Phalanx simply because it's not a good Pokemon for Draft League. Like I said before, it hurts my heart to say that, but it's true. It's just, it isn't good, and that's just it. It's just, I don't know, man. Like, as much as I want to use it, it's that much input isn't the best. But we're not here to talk about Phalanx. We're here to talk about our current draft. So right here beside me, you should see the squad. Hopefully I'm not a big fat liar. You guys let me know what you guys think of the team. I just had a big brain fart as well as just a voice crack. This was my second time re-recording this because the first time I went about this, I just didn't like the way it was turning, and so I decided just to hit the whole reset button and go from it again. But anyways, I'm very excited for this league to be starting up again. I'm excited to have another league on the channel. I think it's a good pacing from like our previous league into this one. Anyways, if you guys are excited for a brand new season, by all means, hit that like button down below. Subscribe if you have not already. Kind of crazy if you haven't subscribed by now. But anyways, you guys do know me as Sir Jorge Degrade. Make sure you represent the word of Alolan Eggy. and we'll see you guys for week 1 of the BBR. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.